Good morning YouTube, it's the 25th of August 2019 and today we're sort of commemorating the 200th anniversary of the death of one of the most influential inventors, figures, engineers of the Industrial Revolution, James Watt. James Watt was born in Greenock in 1736 and at the time, steam engines looked like, well, this. What you're looking at is an atmospheric engine. This one was built in 1810 and they're terribly inefficient. The atmospheric engine was invented by Thomas Newcomen in 1712 and it worked on the principle that steam would enter the cylinder. You then have cold water sprayed into the cylinder which would condense the steam, create a vacuum and suck the piston down, operating the beam. Now if you look here, this is a beam engine, this is the beam on top here with a sort of long rod down here that would normally be connected to a pump down a mine. This one's connected to a gear to a winding engine. And the piston is actually inside the engine house, which we can't get into. But if you look up to the top there, you can see the end of this beam. The pistons are way down inside the engine house. So back to James Watt. So he took a job in 1757. He took a job as an instrument maker at the University of Glasgow, and he was given a job to repair a model of a Newcomen engine, and he got it to work, and then but he realised it wasn't very efficient, and after reading up on heat and what we now call thermodynamics, he realised that up to 3/4 of the heat was lost just heating up the cylinder every stroke. So you thought the way to fix this was to condense the steam outside of the cylinder, and what he did was revolutionary. He created a separate condenser, so steam would enter the cylinder, work the piston and then be exhausted into a condenser where it would then be cooled down. This increased the efficiency of the steam engine quite remarkably. What he didn't have at the time was somebody to make and market these engines. So he started a partnership with Matthew Boulton, who had a company in Birmingham, and that partnership became Boulton and Watt. Boulton and Watt guarded their patents jealously. If you wanted a steam engine, you had to get a Boulton and Watt, making them the Microsoft of the 18th century. And they found an immediate market for their engines in Cornwall, where they didn't have any coal. Coal had to be imported from elsewhere in England, and it was obviously quite expensive. So to have an engine that was that much more efficient and needed that much less coal, it was cheaper to run. It was an instant hit with all the tin miners in Cornwall. Now this is an example of really what those early beam engines evolved into. It's a pump. So steam cylinder this end, piston is moving up and down, and it's attached directly to the piston of the pump at this end. Now in a mine you can imagine the piston's lying on its back, the pumps are way down the mine shaft somewhere, and you've got the beam sort of transmitting the power between the engine and the pump. This pump is a boiler feed water pump from a ship. So it's obviously a lot more compact, but it sort of works on the same principle. You can imagine pump big shaft that goes over a beam, and then engines there. Eventually inventors realised that if you could turn that up and down motion of the steam engine to rotary motion, you could do more than just pump water. So various people invented means of making an up and down steam engine go round and round. People like Richard Trevithick and George Stephenson inventing motions that could turn, as in this case, this is a colliery winding engine. You can wind cable up a drum, you can turn rotary machinery in a factory, and eventually steam engines became small enough and efficient enough to power moving vehicles, and that's when things really took off with the first steam locomotives, and eventually the railways came along, and you had this massive boom in the 19th century, this industrial revolution, which transformed the way the way we do everything, really, and it's all thanks to Mr. Watt. So, without him, none of this would be here. So quite a remarkable man, a genius, in fact. So, yeah, great guy. Oh, and now the engine is turning. Let's watch this engine. It's slow turning here. This is a fraction of the speed it would do in service. This engine here works on pretty much the same principle as all the other steam engines that were driving industry, that were driving ships, that were driving railway locomotives, traction engines, steam rollers, everything. All of that from this.